WCW Nitro versus WWF Raw is War.
The day is March 10th, 1997.
I'm Spencer.
And I'm JD.
And this is The Heel Turn.
Start things off, we're gonna hit Nitro real quick. Speaking of Nitro, we got High Voltage versus Jeff Jarrett and Mongo. What kind of...
But before that, we got two things.
Oh,
just two real quick things. Rodman is going to be on the show later.
Oh, my.
Dennis Rodman. And then
At the height of his popularity.
And Roddy Piper comes out of a limo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then High Voltage versus Jeff Jarrett and Mongo. I was gonna say, what? Give me a match or give me a show that doesn't start with these guys off now.
Jeff Jarrett and Mongo?
Yeah, they always, or at least one of them.
Yeah.
Always starts off, we're gonna start the night off right. And then, I don't know, they probably go drinking.
Of course, Jeff Jarrett and Mongo have a history. They're supposed to hate each other. They're kind of arguing over Deborah. Deborah has cost Mongo a couple matches with that briefcase.
Probably like 4 at this point.
Yeah, Deborah and Jeff Jarrett in tandem sometimes. Yeah, it's didn't show up in this match at all.
Yeah, no, they're best friends. They high-fived. They did their secret handshake. You could tell they were adding each other on Facebook, so it's weird.
Yeah.
Back in '97. So Mongo comes out with Battling Chaos first, which I first said was the blonde guy. But luckily, these guys, they write their names on their pants, so
yeah,
it pays. Just like grunge and rock. We'll hear more from them later.
Yeah.
Anyway, Mongo starts off. You already know how this goes. Mongo comes in. He's got to be like the, this is my house kind of guy. He blows his load a little bit prematurely. Does his signature moves. Tags in Jeff.
I didn't know he had this signature move that he hits later, though.
What? We'll talk. Tags in Jeff at that point. Jeff takes a little bit of a beating. Sort of. Let's see here. Yeah, with Rage in, he's pretty much, by the way, it's Chaos and Rage. Don't cut yourself on the edge. Is working Jeff Jarrett, tags in Chaos, who's also working Jeff. And then in a surprising turn of events, you'll never guess what happens.
What?
Mongo comes back. And
you think he's ran out of all his moves?
He's not a one-hitter quitter.
He's a 3-hitter quitter.
Yeah, so what does he do?
He hits a tombstone pile driver. If there's one person in the industry I don't want to see use a tombstone pile driver, it's Mongo McMichael.
But you forgot, he also hits a neck breaker too, which actually didn't look terrible.
Okay.
He doesn't normally do it. So he's trying to be like, alright, if I'm going to invest in this company, I need to make sure I'm doing moves that look legit.
My notes were, Mongo hits tombstone for win. Don't do that, Mongo.
It's definitely scary, but he gets the 3 count off of it. And to be fair, most tombstones are scary. The only person that really didn't hurt anybody or anything like that we know of was Undertaker.
Well, probably Kane.
Yeah, Kane, yeah. But he has the muscle to back it up. With the rookie status that Mongo has, I would not trust him to do it.
Dude, not at all.
Luckily, no one died. Thank God. This time.
Roddy Piper then comes out with his Nobody crew. That's John Tenta and then 2 complete unknowns.
That they still haven't even given names to yet. No, they're dressed like Greek gods, but with shirts on.
Yeah.
They've got some weird sort of like sash gimmick thing going on.
Roddy Piper says some comment about, what does he say, something? And then he goes, uncensored.
Well, first, he makes a joke about the girls there, which escapes me, and then he goes, uncensored! And then he goes,
that's the pay-per-view.
Howard Stern has criticized me. I'm upset about that. Uncensored!
Yeah.
I shit you not. You can go back and watch that. It's ridiculous. It's very cringy.
Yeah.
In fact, I was literally starting to curl up in the couch.
Roddy Piper says...
Oh, he also says, he calls out... Were you going to talk about Rodman?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Rodman has tattoo parts, while Roddy Piper has metal parts.
And he says, don't pinch my buns.
Ugh.
What the fuck does that mean? Who are you?
And then Roddy starts coming after WWF. out of nowhere. Like,
I mean, it could have been anything, really. Could have been WWE, WWC, WWG.
Oh, but they censored the F.
They censored the
No,
F.
was that on WCW's side or was that on WWF's?
Because
we're watching it on the network.
we're watching it on the network.
I assume that's on WCW's side because
They're not trying
WWF
to.
wasn't censoring it on their own show.
They weren't, but maybe they're trying to keep the names out of the mouth of another company
That they now own?
that they now own.
I don't.
Doesn't make sense. You're right.
But they do a lot
I
of
guess it was
things that don't make
WCW.
sense.
I guess it was WCW or something.
Well, he calls him out. He says, we don't. So WWF apparently said we have no one-hip wrestlers on our roster. And then,
Just like that, by the way.
and then Roddy turned it around on him and said, yeah, you have no one hip on your roster. Ooh. That's fire.
Isn't it?
Yes.
He also just complains, really. He is Bret Hart of WCW right now, if we're pulling the complaining thing.
Yep.
Where he's pretty much just going like, and I'm upset about the critics and all that stuff. Probably because you had a shitty match. If I'm being honest, with the shitty wrestler. I'm sorry, you Hulkamaniacs. He's washed up. Thank God the Four Horsemen come out. I literally wrote, thank fuck. First, Arn comes out. Arn is talking with Roddy Piper. And it's nice to hear Arn again, because he's pretty much phasing out at this point.
Yeah.
But I just really like, seeing the guy. He's got a good look, that dad look, He had denim on denim, so denim, denim, denim. And then everyone's favorite. And literally made Roddy Piper a great character.
Yeah. Ric Flair.
The champ.
Well, AA says that the job for this whole, fight... Okay, so the backstory here is that Roddy Piper's group is going to take on
The NWO.
the NWO's group at Uncensored. I do not know the rules for this match.
There are no rules. It's uncensored.
There's 50,000 stipulations going in here. We're just gonna outline it on the pay-per-view part because I'm sure they'll go over.
We didn't
it.
do it. Yeah.
We'll just take notes, what exactly. But there's a whole lot of shit going on. But AA says this job is for professionals, not amateurs, saying that the people on Roddy's team are a bunch of amateurs. Flair is Flair. I wrote that here.
We know what that means.
Flair wants to team up. He wants their group to be with their group.
He then begins to have a seizure, but maintains his balance.
Well, I think the only reason he didn't die was because Roddy Piper. I don't know why I said DDP. Roddy Piper sucked up some of that spazzing out, and they both spazzed out against each other.
Pretty much kept their balance together. Literally, Ric Flair throws his coat in the air, and that was supposed to be it. Because he's that pumped. Yeah. Roddy literally grabs it out of the air and is like, I'm gonna put this shit on. I'm gonna put on this coat of his. And then that's when they begin spazzing together. I think he got the Ric Flair juice in that coat.
They were just and I think it was supposed to be Rick was saying yes, but obviously he's and then Roddy Piper's supposed to be saying no. But he was it was the weirdest.
But when you can't control your motor functions, things tend to get mistranslated.
Yeah.
So as a result, he goes, "Hey man, let's." I said Rick outdoes himself. He's more Rick he's more Flair than he's ever been flared. He propositions, "Hey man, like Arn's saying, let's work together," and he agrees. But after saying these guys are my family, you don't even know two of their names.
Yeah, I don't know two of them.
No one knows two of their names. They don't know their own names. They're like, I'm the guy with the beard, and I'm that other one.
I swear John Tena just looks like Little John.
Like in the East Side Boys?
No.
From Robin Hood.
From Robin Hood.
God.
Looks like a Little John type.
That hits.
Which Robin Hood was on WCW after, wasn't it?
There you go.
A couple times.
Right on target. Look at you. You're killing it. Anyway.
Big bucks.
Moving over, we got Squire Dave Taylor, who has, I believe, permanently changed his look. Thank God. Instead of looking like a loser,
Wasn't he looking like almost Like Safari guy?
He was a jockey.
Jockey. Okay.
Yeah.
I knew it was like that hat and
the tights and stuff like that. He probably ripped one night, and they're like, you know what, we gotta take this a different direction. So they gave him a traditional look, had him cut a promo as they were getting ready to come out versus Prince Ayukea.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know what accent he wants, I guess. Went from Scottish to Spanish. Whatever. No telling. Yeah. It's a match.
Yeah. Roll-up pin for Prince Ikea. I think it's for the TV title. They don't do the graphics that tell you if it's for a title or not, so I have no idea.
I would think if he's in the match, it's gotta be. Like, he's like, they might be pushing that, you know, the 24/7 title that they had? They might be pushing the stipulation of anytime you have a match, it is for the title kind of thing.
That works.
Because that's what Regal was pushing. So maybe they're all like, hey, you know what? It's now set in stone because that made those matches really interesting.
NWO shows up in a WCW Hummer.
Thanks, brothers! The last one broke down.
Someone falls to the ground. It's M. Wall Street. Who did it? They never ask again.
Yeah, and literally they come to the stage. I don't even know if he was there later on. That's how much of a presence M. Wall Street does not have in the company.
Next we get Jim Powers.
No, hold on. I just realized something else. You know, no one even knew he fell down. It was someone from the audience, the crowd that saw them come out, that yelled it.
Yeah.
And then when it goes on, he turns around and like, oh shit. No one cared. You know.
It's that guy.
Hulk Hogan's not even going to turn around.
Yeah, he was already gone.
He's just like, fucking brothers.
Just keep going.
God,
remember the last time this happened with the Bubba?
Yeah.
And like everyone was like, who did it? Who caused it? Like, let's take the whole Nitro to figure out who did it. They didn't even solve it. They carried over to the next one. Nowadays, like literally like a month later, the same thing happens. They're like, fuck it. It's on Wall Street. Just keep going, guys.
Just keep moving. We'll send one of our other jobbers back to pick him up.
Yeah.
The worst part about all of this is DDP, when it happened that time, pretty much incriminated himself. I don't think he did it, but he was like, you know it wasn't me. It's like, I didn't even ask any questions yet.
Yeah. DDP, what do you think about your next match? You think I killed that guy? No way.
Blood on his hands, wiping him off on his jeans. This is pain. I've been painting my house. I'm ready for my next match. Come on, let's get it going. What a champion. Anyway, go ahead.
Jim Powers with Teddy Long versus Eddie Guerrero.
It's a match.
You have to talk about this one because I had to step out.
Dean Malenko's on commentary. If I'm being honest, this is probably a better space for Dean than cutting promos. Because he's pissed off, recently divorced, Michelle, and is so much of a, like, because he doesn't need to worry about his facial or anything like that, and he can bounce off other people.
Yeah.
It makes better sense for him to be a commentator in that sense, and he actually does a good job. It's actually not bad. He's just talking about how he's a different person. Eddie Guerrero, we used to have these matches, and he does bunch of comparisons between them throughout the match. Cool. All right. There's a couple of almost 3 counts on Eddie. He does this one bit that I always like seeing. When they go to lift him up, he breaks free and then hits him with a drop kick.
Yeah.
I always like seeing that because he gets a lot of air on those.
Eddie's good at that. Ray's good at that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Ray has no choice but to be good. He's like a buck. A buck. That's it. Eddie Guerrero pulls Powers towards the end of the match. Pulls Powers into Teddy Long, who was trying to interfere or at least get the ref's attention. Pulls them into each other. They headbutt. Eddie gets the 3 count on it as a result. And then begins to cut a scathing promo. Were you there for that?
Yes.
Okay.
He says you think I've changed? Well, who's the one that's punching and okay, I love this. He says, who's the one that's been punching, kicking, and choking uncharacteristically?
You might want to look at your buddy Chris Jericho or Chris Benoit on that one, man.
Like who would say that in a promo?
Uncharacteristically. It's not becoming of him, really.
That's like something you would write in like an article about them. Dean's been punching and kicking and choking uncharacteristically lately, but he just said it in the middle of a scathing promo.
And Dean felt it. Oh, that is uncharacteristic. The divorce is taking its toll on me. Ah.
And then he says, everybody tells me I've been changing. Well, I'm going to win. I don't know.
Yeah, you have been changing. You've actually cheated your last 2 matches, I think. So, it's all good.
I guess he's been lying, cheating, and stealing.
More on that one later.
Sergeant...
Take it away, Future S.
Sergeant Craig... Oh my god, that's an excellent segue. Sergeant Craig Pittman versus DDP. DDP hits a weird leg drop. There's an ugly belly to back suplex. And then DDP wins, of course, with the diamond cutter. It's a running diamond cutter, kind of like Randy Orton does it sometimes.
I don't know who that is. But anyway. From there, DDP makes his way over to Mean Gene. Well, Mean Gene makes his way to DDP, I should say. And then he begins to cut a promo on Macho Man, who I believe is going to be his match for Uncensored. Very awkwardly, the lights go out.
Yes.
Someone can pay their bills.
DDP continues the promo, and we kind of... You see little inklings of what it will be when the lights come back on.
Let's point out... and then he gets ready to walk away.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, come on back. No. But they actually went to 2 commercial breaks to fix the issue.
Yeah.
And you could see, like, when they're doing the flyby, there's people in the back just running. We gotta turn this shit back on. Yeah. What the fuck happened? They get it back on and they're like, all right, DDP, just give us footnotes on this one. We gotta move on. And he's like, hey, Macho Man, we're gonna fight. And then he humps himself. And then self-high-fives himself and then steals more Nirvana songs. And that's how it goes.
This time we're doing heart-shaped box.
Oh, man. Moving over to our next match, right? There wasn't a promo.
That was it, yeah.
We get Galaxy versus Ray. I want to say this might be the worst match or one of my contenders for worst match. Just given what happens.
Oh, you know what? I know what my worst match of the night is. I just remembered. Anyway, I disagree, but go ahead.
Well, I mean, it's a contender is what I'm saying.
Okay.
To start off, Galaxy gets this. Galaxy. It's like an RPG. We have Galaxy.
You wrote a lot more than I did on this one.
Gets drop kicked out of the ring. Looks really fucking weird. Actually was making it look like he was the one that was going to go in the water, but with the lucha mask and all that stuff, there's a lot of logistics involved. So probably wouldn't have been the best idea. I was hopeful though. Galaxy at that point, a little bit further on in the match, is tight-roping it to really push it on Eddie. And Eddie just goes, you know what, no. I'm going to shake this thing around a little bit. Or Eddie. Ray. They all look alike, you know, it's okay.
My people.
I am joking. But Ray Mysterio Jr. in the lucha mask. Yeah. I'm mixing them up because they were both luchadors. Yeah, so there you go.
One and the same.
Come on, guys. Ray tampers with the rope, which allows Galaxy's balls to get crushed. And then from there, he misses his moonsault a little bit later on in the match. I mean, outside of that, it's just fluff. It's your typical Rey Mysterio is running circles around the other guy.
Ray wins with a springboard Hurricane Rana. It doesn't look very good. I think we decided it's Galaxy's fault.
Yeah, just considering he didn't tuck, it doesn't look like. I mean, it was not Galaxy's. After the moonsault failed, I looked over to him, and I was like, he's not having a good day. He gets his balls crushed, he gets drop kicked almost into the water. I mean...
Can we talk about the setting here?
Sure. Real
quick? It's in this, like, outdoor arena, which normally I don't like the outdoor stuff, but this one was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And it had, like, pools of water all around it. And this is going to be a staple in the company, I believe. They're going to come here a lot.
Yeah. It's a horseshoe, and then it has like a small little, like its own, maybe a hot tub section over there too. Yeah.
So there's pools of water everywhere and around the ring.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a little bit of room around the ring that you can move, but like that is like there's like a fence, and then it's just pools.
Yeah. And
Really cool.
You could see every wrestler when they make their way to the ring, they're like, all right, fucking camera guy, get the fuck out of my way. Or they're looking down a lot because it's a rickety old like setup they got going on. They pretty much had to bridge between an island and then another bridge to the area where the ring's at. So setting that stuff up must have been a bitch. And I can just imagine taking it down. They're going to have to drain it just so they can get everything out there.
Yeah.
So definitely interesting. They should have did a TLC match out there. That would have been hype.
That's sick. Fall into the water.
Yeah, from the water. Oh, call it a day. Good night. Anyway, Hurricane Arana, and there's one.
John Sensio from MTV. He's a VJ. Remember MTV?
Remember VJs?
I've never seen this guy before, but apparently he exists. Pamela Rogers is Miss Nitro. They found her on the beach.
She'd been living there for about a week.
She looks horrified. She's paraded around the ring for a little bit, and they announced that I think some of the NWO members will be on MTV's Fame or Shame.
You wrote way more than what I wrote. I just literally put, they have a sort of bikini contest thing, but it's not even a bikini contest.
Yeah.
That was a premature assessment. I was like, I see where this is going. If the what's it called show, the biker thing is anything to go by, they're just, or no, that was the, what's the NWO pay-per-view? Sold Out.
Sold Out.
If Sold Out was anything to go by, I was expecting more women to come out.
More not attractive women?
Yeah. Oh, God.
So that's it for that one.
Baby got back. Baby, get back. That's how you do it. Anyway, moving forward, we've got, I literally couldn't put everyone's names because I didn't know everybody.
I got them.
Okay.
We got the French Canadians.
Yep.
Roadblock.
Yep.
And Greg Valentine.
Didn't know him.
Versus Lex Luger, the Steiners, and the Giant.
Huh? Got it. Or am I?
Lex Luger, the Steiners, and the Giant are Team NWO for Uncensored, right?
Team NWO.
Or sorry, Team WCW. Yeah. There's 3 teams.
Yeah.
Which doesn't make any sense.
We'll go over it when we get there.
Yeah.
I want to point out Paul Anderson is back referee. At least that's what we noticed. He was back. It's like, what the fuck? Weren't you fired?
Yeah, he should have been fired.
Maybe because Eric Bischoff got suspended, he was reinstated.
Oh, that might have been the story that anyway.
They never talk about.
They brought it for like a millisecond and then never brought it up again. Maybe it was supposed to be that Eric Bischoff.
What are you doing, Tony? You're goofing. Anyway, go ahead. Oh, Greg Valentine and Lex start.
Yeah, it's SGT. Oh, Scott. It's not a G. Scott suplexes Roadblock. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, he's a heavy fella.
Roadblock is a big boy.
Yeah.
And then Giant choke slams Roadblock, and that's the match.
Yeah. I put giant power bombs, but I don't think I was paying attention to us writing it down. It's like, yeah, that's what he did. I literally wrote, why was this a match? Followed by, they all cut a promo. And really all they do is just, it's a circle.
Okay, so in the, they outlined the stakes of the match.
Yeah.
They did not outline necessarily the rules of what this is.
Come on.
But they outlined the stakes. And then they said, that sound about right, Luger? And he goes, I think so. He's as confused as we are.
He's confused as fuck. He's like, I think, Mean Gene, but whatever, man.
Don't run up
I'm just here to wrestle. Don't give me all these equations.
And then Giant says he's excited about his team. He's got the masters of the suplex and the Steiners. The master of the rack, which is Luger. And then he's a fire-breathing giant. Or dragon or something. He's fire-breathing something.
Giant, yeah. I was expecting dragon. I was like, nope. Okay.
And Rick Steiner says he's never been right. Because they said that he's not in the right state of mind.
And he's like, yeah, I've never been right in my mind. And then just barks, and then the audience barks back, and then you're questioning wrestling.
And then Mean Gene asks Lex Luger, he asked him, like, are you, something about the, I don't remember what he was asking. And Luger was the same as me, I guess, because he was not listening. And he says, the sound of these fans, I didn't hear a word you said. And the fans were not making any noise.
Yeah, which, by the way, it's just alludes to the fact this guy was mentally not there.
No.
He's just like, whatever, let's get this shit over with.
And I think he's asking about what his opinion of NWO is or something. And he's like, NWO is a repugnant smell.
Why would you ask him that as a reporter? Like, he's building a team against them. You're like, so what do you think about...
What do you think about these guys?
Yeah.
They're wrestling.
So you're at war with this country. What do you think about the country's leader? Oh, he's a great guy.
Good guy.
He's a great guy. But we just have a difference on opinions, so that's why I'm sending millions of people to die. Moving to the next match, we get Juventud with the Attitude versus... I'll never do that again. Versus Ultimate Dragon with Sonny Ono.
Yes.
Good old-fashioned Sonny Ono. Nothing really to report home.
Some semi-sloppy work. Sonny Ono kicks Juvi on the outside.
It looks like it hurt more than...
I've got a lot of that RPG stuff you were doing earlier. Okay. Ultimate Dragon, no sells chops.
Yes.
Ultimate Dragon with great torture rack backbreaker. Slingshot suplex that looked kind of ugly. Ultimate Dragon did that to... No. Juventud Guerrera did that to Ultimate Dragon, I believe.
Yeah.
It might have been the other way around. I can't remember. Looks sloppy, though. I didn't write who did it, so I'm just going to guess. Juvi did a front flip to the outside that looked pretty cool.
That looked painful. He pretty much collapsed Ultimate Dragon in like an accordion.
Crowd is dead pretty much through the whole match. That's a bummer. These guys are trying. Ultimate Dragon does a running Liger Bomb. I would have just called it a power bomb, but apparently it's called a running Liger Bomb.
No, man, they're just trying to get something over that's not even true.
Story here is Ultimate Dragon is not pinning, although it never becomes a thing because he then wins with a Tiger Suplex with a bridge.
Which is a pin, but...
And then Sonny takes a picture because that's what Asian people do when they travel.
Oh, dude, he totally kicked Juventud.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Like 2 or 3 times after they won, and then he's like, all right, let's take this picture. They put this on my Instagram, my Insta story. It is what it is.
Next up, we get Chris Jericho versus Scotty Riggs.
Who comes out to the greatest theme.
American males.
American males.
That song sounds like if aliens had to write a song about cool guys.
It's like the ambiguously gay duo.
Yes. Oh my god.
That's what that reminds
It's
me.
exactly like that.
Every time I think of that, so it's just like...
I love that song has that part of it, and then like the 80s rock, 80s metal, and he's like singing passionately, and then he goes, American male. This is the worst, best song ever.
It really is. That's some Shockmaster levels of horrible. Chris Jericho, obviously, he's the best.
You wouldn't know watching this match.
You wouldn't know.
It ends in 2 minutes.
It starts off pretty strong. He's definitely working faster than Scotty Riggs. I don't know if he's trying to do that on purpose or not, though. Like there's literally a spot that they do where he's like, all right, dude, you gotta, off the ropes. You're coming at me. I'm going over you. He literally paused for like 2 seconds, like, bro. And then he's like, all right, great. And then he jumps over.
Yeah.
And he's a tall dude, too, so he's got to dig deep when he goes down. So timing had to be an issue or a factor there. We get over to a bridge suplex by Chris Jericho, which was nice, of course. And then from there, probably the highlight of the match at this point, Buff Bagwell, for whatever reason, just hates Scotty Riggs now. They were the tag team, American Males. I don't know how long ago that was, though. Are you okay? Oh, it's your deep in thought. I don't know how long ago that was, but he just decides, you know what, I'm part of the NWO, part of a real staple. Let me come out to the ring with a leather belt and just whip my old teammate, whom I no longer like. Anyway, so Buff Bagwell comes out. He whips his old teammate. You get a DQ.
He's wearing black. This is so 90s. He's wearing black cut-off jean shorts.
That are pretty high up there.
Very high up there.
Which, I mean, styles come in they cycle back around, so that is sort of like common now.
What? It is?
Yeah, actually.
Black?
Well, not the black part, and not the denim part necessarily, but the fact that they're that high, yeah, that is more common.
Well, I like it on a girl.
What about on me?
I would not.
I'm disappointed. You know, I've got the legs that I can't think of a rhyme. Yeah. Anyway, Scotty Riggs wins because, of course, he does. Which, honestly, I think is kind of BS, just considering that he won. They should just throw it out. But now it's on Chris Jericho's untainted record. It's a loss.
Is it untainted? Didn't he lose it sold out?
The next match we have... No, we've got a Medusa promo with Mean Gene.
I was so confused because she was saying, all these women want a piece of me. All these women are saying that they're better than me and they want their number one contender for this. It's like, there hasn't been a women's wrestling match in like at least 3 months. Like, not even a match.
Not even a build up. Except for last week.
Yeah.
That
like,
was it.
So what the hell?
Well, technically there was a match. Technically.
When?
That was, what's it called? Woman and they were accessories to the match in that sense. And I don't mean to objectify them, but I mean it more in the sense of like
they were hoes.
But they were just sort of there.
Yeah,
they weren't really the highlight per se. I mean, woman could get it, so I guess, but still. But if you notice, we'll talk about it a little bit later. Well, actually, it comes up right next. She's talking about Luna Vachon.
Yeah.
I put Lucy for some reason. Luna Vachon, and talks about like, oh, get over here and come fight me if you want to get it. Which I guess is them building up to that, and eventually might even happen on Uncensored.
I hope it does. What the hell else?
We'll get something out of it. But we lead into the next match. We've got everyone's favorite
Garden Gnome.
Kevin Sullivan with Jackie and with Jimmy Hart. And
they're fighting Hardbody Harrison,
who was formerly the Black Jobber that I put down.
Yeah.
So that's in bigger words. Yeah. BJ over here. HBH.
His body was hard.
Yeah, he's definitely in shape, but I feel like they did the man dirty.
Very.
He didn't get one single offensive move in. He pretty much gets destroyed. The match gets tossed out because they both go out to the ring, and then he's getting tossed around close to the beach, but not on the beach.
Maybe they didn't have a permit to go out to the beach. I imagine that Kevin Sullivan took him all the way out to the edge and was going to throw him in the beach, and then read that sign that said no lifeguard on duty. And he's like, oh, okay.
Shit.
And then he quickly turned.
He literally goes, he's black.
Well, then you're gonna go swimming.
So he brings him back in, being the nice chauffeur at this point. And keep in mind, Jackie's also beating up on him. She hits him with a suplex. She's obviously got muscle.
Yeah.
You don't need to keep proving it. We believe it. But like the gimmick now is Kevin beats them up a little bit, throws them out of the ring, or Jimmy Hart distracts the ref, and then she gets her beat down in, and everyone goes whooping and hollering because the girl's getting hers, and then throws him back in the ring. I will say the second time that they threw him out of the ring, I don't know what the fuck Kevin Hart, I was about to say, Kevin Sullivan was doing, but he literally threw him on his neck to like get him out of the ring, right where the stairs were at too.
Yeah, it looked shitty.
I was like, dude, what are you doing? Like, he's a new guy. Like, just fucking calm down. I don't know if he's taking out his aggressions on Benoit, like banging his wife or whatever, but for whatever reason, he gets thrown into the water after getting tossed around a lot, and then they begin to cut a promo. This was what I was mentioning, by the way, is it seems like Jackie might be trying to get into the women's wrestling through association with Luna Vachon and Medusa.
Okay.
Because she was sort of mentioning, hinting at like being the toughest like woman and all that stuff. So might see it.
Jimmy Hart just does their too legit to quit line, and then Kevin Sullivan shows his support for Roddy Piper in the Four Horsemen, and one of the most confusing promos I think I've ever seen.
It's like, oh man, I wrote this.
But it basically says you need to win, no excuses.
but doesn't offer to help.
I don't know what it heels or phases or what.
All I can say is thank God he didn't do that fucking stomp finisher.
Yes, that is the ultimate burial. Losing to that.
I wish they had squeaky shoes every time he did it.
Oh my god, we should do a cut of all of his matches and just insert squeaky noises. NWO comes out. It's Dennis Rodman is in the NWO now. What do they call him? Like Hot Rod or
Hot Rod.
yeah, making fun of Roddy Piper. They offer Sting an NWO shirt. He's not happy about it. The shirt looked a little small. Maybe he was just sad he didn't get a good shirt.
Yeah, it's no My Chemical Romance on it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I don't want to wear this.
Dude, I get that the whole Sting thing is like be quiet and like be brooding and everything. But is this too much?
He'll be wrestling by the end of the year. But the thing is he's still in...
We're in March.
We're in March.
And he's going to start wrestling in like December?
He has a legitimate... Well, he's going to be at Starrcade.
Right.
But he has a legitimate year where he doesn't say a single word live. From the moment he debuts and actually has the full thing. Because he debuted and it was all white, but it was still his normal Stinger look. Didn't really sell too well. But then they did the full thing. And he's like 7 months in or 6 months in or something like that.
He just stands there and sulks.
Yes, and I gotta be honest with you. As a kid, I bought into it.
Really?
I was a mark. I was just like, yeah, get him, Stinger. Come on.
It's definitely different. I'll give him that.
Don't fucking like it. But
It's different.
as an adult, I don't like it. But
Kevin Nash. I almost did it too. Just like. Kevin Nash said he hopes that the Steiners have lost damage waivers. A lost damage waiver?
yeah, LDW's liability damage waiver. It's
Oh.
lost damage. Well, in most places nowadays, it's not lost damage waiver.
Well, he said lost damage waiver.
Yeah.
And then Scott Hall trashes them. And then Macho Man says, remember that guy, or they asked him, like, isn't there somebody you're facing or something? And Macho Man says he can't remember DDP's name.
I forgot. It's only 3 letters. How do you're, if anything, you're dumb. You're not like this person's insignificant. You're just like, you probably don't remember what street you're on at that point. I think we're on 69th. It's like, no, we're on Broadway, all right? Oops.
I forgot. He's just very cocky.
My mistake.
Very cocky about actually forgetting something.
Yeah.
That's how I'm going to be when I get older.
I guess I forgot, bitch.
Grandpa, it was my birthday. I guess I forgot.
Are you one of my grandkids? Are you a bastard?
And then we have your boys in the ultimate main event of the night.
Public Enemy comes out. I literally wrote grunge is on drugs, and Rock is cringe because Rock decides to go.
He raps. Grunge, rock, and rap.
I'm so thankful Harlem Heat exists because they decided to interfere. Thank God, and go, we gotta stop this guy from destroying our culture. They just start wailing on him in the most...
Yeah, they only beat him up because he was rapping.
Yeah, right. We're cool with the way he did what? Tell me he didn't say what I think he said.
Tell me he didn't do rhymes.
He didn't do rhymes on time. They literally come out there and
Bar.
16 bars? Really? They come out and they do the biggest like no-sell punches like ever. It's ridiculous. Like they're not even really flinching. They're just going, I hit you. Well, I hit you now. Well, now I'm going to shoot your foot. Like, what the fuck?
Well, what about the promo?
Oh, also I wrote, I die inside.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Grunge does a promo against the Four Horsemen. Like, Ric Flair is old, and they're not even clever. It's just like, Ric Flair, you're old. Arn Anderson, you're past your prime.
Benoit's dead, might as well be, because they haven't even mentioned him.
Yeah, Jeff Jarrett is like rides the coattails.
Riding coattails.
Like,
Mongo thinks he's in the NFL. Well, that might be good. Did you see his finisher?
I mean...
Or starter at this point.
So wait, Are they? I don't even understand.
They're not heels because they get cheered like crazy. They got cheered like crazy coming out.
Yeah, who the fuck are we supposed to cheer for in this company?
Harlem Heat.
I know I'm supposed to cheer for Rey Mysterio.
You can never go wrong with Harlem Heat.
I know I cheer for Harlem Heat. I cheer for Rey Mysterio.
Chris
Jr.,
Jericho.
Chris Jericho. Eddie Guerrero almost canceled his thing because he's like, everyone's saying I'm changing. So he's kind of out. And D. Malenko obviously is out.
Lex?
Yeah, I guess Lex. And the Giant at this point. And the Steiner. I guess there's some people, but it's the shades of gray on some of these characters makes no sense.
Yeah, Four Horsemen especially.
Yeah.
They don't even know where they are.
They were calling people
words that we're not going to serve.
Anyway.
So now we're going to move over to Raw.
Dude, new intro and new set and a lot of new pyro.
And no one cares. No, I mean, they got a new intro. I'm not the biggest fan of it because I feel like it's trying to take the Nitro's old intro, which I'm like, you guys bend that. You don't have to do that. I actually liked the super kick to that one guy, like right at the end. I took that super kick. Or the sweet chin music just got destroyed.
Yeah.
But now it's gone, and I cry a little. Psycho Sid, to start off the set, or the night, comes out, does his weird little fist bumps to people, aggressive fist bumps, like he's gonna kill you if you don't fist bump him. He comes out and he cuts a promo on Undertaker.
It's like he's teaming up with Undertaker to take on Vader and Mankind tonight.
But he's conflicted because he has to wrestle Undertaker at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So what's gonna happen?
Doesn't trust Paul Bearer. Thinks it's a trap. Oh. There's one little thing.
What?
He wants to put Undertaker in the cemetery. Wait, what is
Once and for good.
Yeah. Once and for good.
And I know I only have half the brain that you do. Sorry, man, that wasn't a work. That was all you. Undertaker then comes out because luckily, he's not taking his time.
Yeah.
And gets a gong. He's like running.
Yeah. Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah.
His way to the ring.
Fucking high five at everybody. Face paint on and everything. He comes out and he says that he wants the belt so he can bring it to the creatures.
Yeah.
Now fill me in because I didn't grow up with WWF. I don't remember this part.
I don't know the creatures.
What the fuck? It always shocked me how a man who's
He's gonna have creatures soon, but I don't think he has any right now.
It's funny to me how a man who's unkillable, can't die, decides to wrestle in his spare time, and moreover, wants plates, just like pointless plates that have titles on them for whatever reason. He's like, I want that, and I'll do it the legal way. I'll get it.
Yeah, I'll earn it.
That's so, like, if I was watching back then, I'd be like, this is so hard to fucking.
Well, he makes up a good point because Sid is worried that Taker's gonna want to hurt him for their match, but Taker says, if you're hurt, I can't have a match with you, so I won't get the title. And if I get hurt, then you don't have to have a match with me, and you keep your title. So why are you worried about me? And it just makes Sid kind of look like an idiot. Like, I guess you're right!
But before the logic can actually set in, Paul Bearer comes out in a shrill of a voice with Vader and Mankind, and pretty much taunts them at that point. Mankind and Vader come to the sides of the ring, hop in. Mankind
Destroyed.
gets fucking annihilated. At least Vader punches back, but still gets knocked out of the ring. Then they look at each other and they do a buddy cop wink, followed by a secret handshake they developed, and then they both drag themselves in the underworld.
To the creatures.
Yeah, or what we call a commercial break.
Next we get Rocky Maivia versus Jobber. Do you know the guy's name?
Tony something. I actually put Tony something.
Tony SpongeBob is what it looks like from where I'm reading.
No, well, my handwriting sucks too. So they're getting ready to start their match, and the fucking stupidest thing happens. Iron Sheik, literally before they wrestle, comes out and goes pretty much, and the Sultan's there too, and then some other
And
fuck.
Bob Backlund.
That's Bob Backlund?
Yeah.
Get the fuck back in. That guy is fucking annoying. Because here's why. The setting is this, so you guys can understand. They're literally getting ready to have the match. Iron Sheik comes out and he goes, my Sultan's gonna take care of you. Sultan doesn't say shit. Then he gives the mic to Bob Backlund. Bob Backlund proceeds to talk. In a sense, we can't really hear him. And the actual announcers are commentating on the match, or at least Vince is. And he's the only one calling it at this point. And even Jerry Lawler's like, hold on, I'm trying to hear what he's saying. And it's just like, why is this all happening in conjunction? Like, this is too much. This is unorganized.
Yeah.
So Rocky wins, I think, in 2 moves.
Hits that, like, across the ring crossbody.
He does that DDT that you like. And then he crossbodies almost from one turnbuckle to the exact opposite.
He gets some
holy
air.
shit. He's got some hops. He's got Air Jordans and jumps off, takes out Tony, whatever. He buries him, as I put it. Sultan comes in literally immediately and they start
Like Rocky knocks him away.
Yeah.
And then escapes out of the ring and is joined on the ramp by Tony Atlas.
Good old Tony Atlas.
His dad's tag team friend.
Yeah, which is nice to see, but how does that tie in? I guess WrestleMania, he might have an appearance there too. Maybe. We'll see. Probably.
That was a very weird match.
Yeah. Well, it only gets weirder.
Okay, so your worst match was that Kevin Sullivan one?
No, I said it was... don't spoil it.
Okay.
Let's get through it first.
All right.
So, next match, we've got Heavy Metal, I believe all luchadors.
Yeah.
Or former, like, luchadors. I mean, like, wear the mask. They could still have the style, but not wear the mask. We've got Heavy Metal, Pentagon, and Perioth, which sounds like a chemical.
Yeah.
And we've got Hector Garza, who sounds like one of my friends, Octagon, and then Latin Lover.
Ooh, Latin Lover.
You can tell Latin Lover loves because he's got a Playboy bunny on his ass.
Wait, is it... Okay, is it Latin Lover that does the thing, or Hector Garza? I know it's Hector Garza.
It's Latin Lover.
Okay.
Because he had the white...
Right.
the white ones. So let's just call it how it is. I don't think Raw or WWF can do 3-on-3s or just big numbers. Keep it at 2 on their case. Because, and ironically, they do the Royal Rumble. You know, it's just not well designed.
This is my worst match of the night.
Yeah, they had, who was it?
But you know what? Well, I will say this. I think the point of this match was to put something on for the audience while they just showed everything else they wanted to show. Because this is where they had China in the audience. And they're like, we're kicking her out, yada, yada, yada.
And then Brian Pillman.
And then Brian Pillman's like, I'm here in the WWF.
Shotgun Saturdays, trying to push that, probably because no one even fucking knows it existed.
Yeah.
We didn't.
Well, I knew it existed because they bring it up a lot. But I never and will never watch it. So
More of the same is what we're looking at here at this point. It's excessive booing. There's a lot of people booing the match, which, to be honest, for good reason. A lot of these guys, I feel like, are luchadors because it hides.
There's no Rey Mysterio or Juventud Guerrera in this group. There's one. Heavy Metal was all right.
Heavy Metal wasn't bad.
I would have said Latin Lover was all right and Hector Garza was all right, except Latin Lover we'll talk about.
Why don't you tell me? Tell me a tale.
Oh my God, Latin Garza.
Latin Lover.
Latin Lover. Why did I rewrite Garza? Even after you corrected it, I was like, no, it's Garza. You're full of shit. It's definitely Latin Lover. Latin Lover is this guy. He's got like a Playboy bunny on his pants.
On his bum. Yeah.
Okay. He gets lifted to the turnbuckle, and I think from there he's supposed to do a almost like a frog splash, but into a crossbody or something.
So what knocks? What's the name back though? A Heavy Metal. He gets
nothing,
but he rolls.
He just rolls. So okay.
But he's supposed to be hurt. I thought he got hit with something.
There was something going on there. We watched it like 3 times trying to figure it out.
Just so he could get a laugh in.
Because Latin Lover he jumps on the turnbuckle. He gets like thrust into the turnbuckle.
Yeah.
So that's where Heavy Metal is supposed to be hurt or like dazed.
Yeah.
And like stand there and get ready
I
to
think
catch
he might
him.
hit him.
Get ready to catch him in a big crossbody thing or whatever. But Latin Lover clearly, I mean, he turns around. He's not backwards. So he's seeing the whole ring and sees that Latin Lover did not do that. He rolled out of the way towards the ropes.
You mean Heavy Metal did?
Heavy Metal did this. I'm sorry. Heavy Metal rolled out of the way near the ropes and just kind of hanging out there. Like, he's just standing there.
He's standing, walking.
He's not doing anything.
He's not a hard target.
Latin Lover is like, he must have just been, well, I was going to fucking do a crossbody and I'm still going to do a crossbody. And he does the crossbody.
It's a horrible looking crossbody.
It's like a midair frog splash, but into nobody. And he just crashes and burns as hard as he possibly
It
could.
wasn't bad.
And then Heavy Metal just rolls him up for the win. But you have to see it. We created a whole new badge just for this. It's the botch of the night. This was horrible.
It's wrestling seppuku.
I couldn't tell if it was out of spite that he's like, well, I'm just gonna fuck it up then. And he just went for nothing.
Let's go home.
Crashed.
The drugs are kicking in. Let's get out of here.
That's what I challenge is to try to figure out what was supposed to happen there.
Yeah, be the Sherlock Holmes of wrestling. Depressing, of course. We get over to the next match, which is Ahmed versus Roy Raymond, who's obviously a jobber.
Yeah.
And at this point, we're starting to see they're hiring a lot more people into the company, or not hiring, I should say. They're not giving them contracts. They're just like, hey, show up for today, get $150 or something like that. Wrestle this big black dude who's oiled up. And Roy Raymond's like, yeah, and use my real name too. He should have called himself like the legal left turn or something, or the wrong way or whatever. Anyway,
Roadblock.
The jobber, I'm sorry, Roy Raymond, immediately goes for a suplex while Ahmed's like, yo, I love my people. And Ahmed just like no sells it. And I think he gets stomped on like 5 times on his arm. And he's just like, if you're only listening to this, I'm just like shrugging my shoulders. There's nothing there.
Yeah.
And then he literally gets up. At that time, we are the nation. Bullshit. It comes out. Nation of Domination comes out. Those idiots start rapping. And then Ahmed is just like, fuck it. I still got to wrestle, though. And proceeds to...
It's kind of like the Rock one.
It is. Except they shut the fuck up until the match was done. So Ahmed, of course, is destroying this guy in the corner. He awkwardly throws him out of the ring, which is really weird. He hits him with the Irish whip and then like picks up one of his legs and then just goes, yeah, get out.
Yeah, you get out.
I was like, okay, I guess he's just throwing him out because I'm like, I don't want to wrestle you anymore. No, he brings him back in. And I was like, what the fuck are we doing? Hits him with the powerbomb.
Pearl River Plunge.
Oh, whatever. 3 counts of the Pearl River Plunge.
Pearl River Plunge.
Is he from the Pearl River City or something? What is it? We'll Google it. Anyway,
It's the double underhook powerbomb.
we don't
Sit down powerbomb.
we don't claim to be experts,
Nice.
but we know shit. We know what we're looking at.
Fucking expert.
Either way, Farouk.
I'm gonna let you talk about all this because I'm too scared.
Oh, you'll be fine.
Okay, well, Farouk calls him an Uncle Tom.
Yeah, which, if you didn't know, is a term we black folk like to say about another person of color who is maybe a little bit too favorable towards the white man, to the point of like a yes man of sorts. So he's pretty much saying, and he might even be directing it towards Vince too, when he calls him that, just saying like, hey, you're the Uncle Tom for Vince McMahon. Ahmed is not Knuckle Tom. I think
Decidedly not.
Yeah, it's very clear he's not. But I think they're just doing that to be like, hey, you're both black. Get some heat.
Let's get some
heat. So
When
they
was,
say
when was
everything-
Rodney King? That was 90s?
97.
Was it?
Wait, no, is it?
Either way.
LA Riots.
The race war not race war, but the riot kind of thing was going
It was
on
97.
in this time around here.
I think it was summer. It's getting there.
But there was
It's getting there.
racial tensions were higher in that way than they were now. This makes more sense back then.
Yeah. So, yeah, they were definitely like, all right, we're going to have a black guy wrestle another black guy. But Farouk is pushing the I'm African, but Ron Simmons is definitely not an African name. But that's okay. It's Uncle Ron, they should call him. Either way, Ahmed calls Farquaad, I keep thinking it reads Farquaad, calls Farquaad a chocolate-colored punk. Which is hilarious to me because it's like me looking at you and being like, you fucking...
No, it'd be like you looking at Rosie or something.
Yeah, and saying that to him. And what's Rosie going to say? Oh,
You're also chocolate.
you're a caramel-covered punk. You bitch. What the hell? Like, if they said it themselves... Like, cause I gotta be honest with you. A lot of times you catch the wrestlers almost cursing, like they're getting ready. They're
Didn't one of them say something like, "I can't say it. I can't call you that," or what? Somebody said something like that.
Think so, but you also see it on ECW. You know what?
Yeah, you know what?
What? No, I mean there's plenty of words in the dictionary. Hit me with an insult, bro. tell me what time it is. Ahmed, after calling Farouk just the most insulting thing he could think of, goes, "You bring your boys, I'm gonna bring my boys." Who's he bring out? 2 white people. God. British Bulldog and Owen Hart versus the Black Jacks.
And Jim Ross before the match is stirring up some trouble, asking about the European Championship that happened last Raw.
Yeah.
Pretty great match between the two.
Match. Definitely. What was he saying? He's like, oh, you kind of looked at him funny.
Yeah.
After he won, he's like, stop trying to stir up drama. I'm sorry, and stop trying to start. I'm sorry. The entire time, and it was actually pretty good. I actually like that because you don't really see JR doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But that's definitely interesting to see. For whatever reason, Owen Hart is either laughing or crying. I'm gonna go with laughing. Because the Blackjacks get the mic immediately before the start of the match, and they're like, "Let me tell you something," and then they go over to their side of their corner, really, and for whatever reason, I don't know what was said, but Owen Hart literally turns away like this from the camera. He might be laughing, something like that, but British Bulldog literally goes, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
And it's staring at him the entire time, and it's just like, bro. Break eye contact, and then it leads to. I literally wrote. I'm assuming they pissed him off. I wrote. He hugs them aggressively.
Yeah, Owen like tackle hugs.
I like
Bradshaw.
you. Yeah. So, go ahead, because I know you want to talk about this.
Oh yeah. There's a Vader and Mankind promo. Vader and Mankind are going to take on Owen Hart and British Bulldog for the tag team championships at WrestleMania.
At Uncensored. Oh shit.
And Vader says, "It's time. It's our time. And at WrestleMania, we're gonna do this." And then Vince McMahon kind of cuts him off. He's like, "Yeah, it's Vader time." And then ends the promo.
Back to the fucking match.
Vince McMahon just ended the promo for Vader.
It's hilarious.
It's amazing.
He's so pissed off. He's like, "We're running out of fucking time here." I think I know why he did it, considering the finish of the match.
What's the finish?
Because it's not really that long of a match.
Oh, okay. He's like, "Hurry up, because the match isn't gonna last much longer."
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Owen gets Bradshaw in the sharpshooter, and then, there's a little bit more here though. Real quick, Bradshaw does hit a cool pump handle slam. It's just nice to see him doing any wrestling moves because he's not very talented. And then Taz cuts a promo calling out Lawler. They've been going back and forth about their ECW drama. King says, Taz says, "Why don't you come say it to my face? If you say anything about me, I'm going to beat your ass." And then King says, "I'll say it to your face if I can bend down that far." Because he's calling him short. Anyway, in the match, Owen gets Bradshaw on the sharpshooter. British Bulldog wouldn't leave the ring. He's trying to save Owen from getting hit while putting on the sharpshooter. And then eventually they just disqualify the British Bulldog and Owen Hart, giving the win to the Blackjacks. The new Blackjacks, I should say. Next up, Taz runs to the ring, and he starts arguing with Jerry the King Lawler on the outside of the ring.
And Jerry's actually trying to step to him.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious.
Well, Sabu comes from out of nowhere.
Sabu out of nowhere.
Before RKO was a thing.
The worst part, he already had a chair set up and no one knew he was there.
He had everything set up and just darts onto the chair, does the springboard. They just casually, so gingerly move out of the way. And Sabu flies through a table.
Taz actually had a questionable look on his eyes. He's like,
What?
so back it up.
Like, that is his one job, is to jump through that table. He's like, okay, we're going to have Taz and the King have this big argument on the outside. And then we're going to have Sabu. He's like, what's he going to do? He's going to fly through a table. Like, wait,
Sabu,
what?
yeah. Do you know what you want to do for this match? Oh, there are tables involved.
I'm just going to go through.
I think
okay with you.
I think he might have hit an audience member actually.
With his foot?
His leg like corked or like went through. It hooked. So someone might have taken some damage.
That was the most bizarre thing.
The funniest part about it, it took one table to put Sabu out because he stayed there. He was just like, oh. And then like a medic showed up, and I was like, it's not that serious. He's fine.
He does this a lot.
He'll get back up. Like, trust me, you should see his back. He's okay. But I guess he got like a medevac helicopter and everything.
That was...
Get him out of here.
I relate it to something, but it's a spoiler for the future, so I'm just not going to bring it up. But I'll bring it up to you after this.
Yeah, ooh.
Leaf Cassidy takes on Miguel Perez in a match nobody wanted.
No, he takes on the Yeti. or Sasquatch.
Dude, he's so fucking
Chewbacca.
hairy. Miguel Perez is the dude from a couple Raws ago, that really shitty one.
Yeah.
Where he...
the ECW takeover?
He helped out Goldust while they were fighting Savio Vega.
Yeah. Dropkick Savio Vega, also yelling Puerto Rico's better than Dominican Republic. Somewhere in there, I don't know where. It's lost in the tapes, but it's there.
Paulie does a promo, says no more games. We're doing a debate, which in a way is a game. But also what really, I mean, if you look at the debate they're going to have, it's very, very stupid. But
yeah.
Whatever. Leaf dominates for most of it, and then he misses a moonsault. Miguel wins with a roll-up. Whatever. Ken Shamrock.
Yeah, go Ken Shamrock. As he really came to the ring very humble. You can tell he's like this. He's got his hands behind his back. He's got slacks on and dress pants.
Despite Ken Shamrock not being the best promo yet, or I guess ever, but really especially here,
yeah,
this was really entertaining.
Yeah.
Ken Shamrock is announced as the special ref for Stone Cold versus Bret Hart at WrestleMania in a submission match. I was thinking I Quit, but that's not what it is.
Not yet.
Submission match. There will be no rules breaking under his watch.
No rules breaking.
I guess no rules breaking.
News. No one knows. The best part about it, or at least a funny part,
Yeah.
Austin actually interrupts and he's like, well, no one really cares. Ken Shamrock, I'm like, you might want to because he's the ref, but whatever. And then he goes, I'll stomp your little guts out. Which is, again, typical Austin. He threatens Shamrock.
We're also prepped that Bret Hart has a cage match with Psycho Sid next week on Raw for the WWF Championship.
Be an interesting set.
Stone Cold hopes that he wins, obviously, because then
they can
turns their match into a championship match.
Exactly. So good luck, Bret. Lord knows he wins. Anyway, the funniest thing about it is Bret's music plays right when Ken Shamrock's like, hey, Stone Cold, you can come out here, I ain't going nowhere. And then you hear that.
And Stone Cold goes,
He goes, is Brett out there? I gotta come out and whoop both their asses. And then he just darts off. Hilarious. And then Brett comes down in his I'm not gonna wrestle clothes.
Yeah.
He literally, here's the fucking like weirdest thing to me. This shit doesn't make sense at all. Brett comes down on Ken Shamrock's promo where he's talking about, I'm going to be the guest referee, I'm really excited, I'm really humbled to be here, all that stuff. It is about him. Why is Brett coming down to plug a completely different match on someone else's time?
Because he's Bret Hart and he's awesome.
He's a fucking idiot. He's a fucking idiot.
Bret talks about all the complaining he's been accused of, and he said, well, maybe I have, but there's a lack of justice here. And but he's been given this opportunity. They see things his way. He's going to try to win the title in this cage match. And then he sort of addresses Shamrock. He says, look, I've been screwed.
You're here?
I've been screwed by Shawn Michaels. I've been screwed by Vince McMahon. I've been screwed by Stone Cold. I've been screwed by everybody.
My fans, WWE.
So Shamrock, you better not screw me too, or else...
It'll be the worst mistake you make in your life.
Yeah. Shamrock says he'll be fair. Stone Cold shows up and flips them off and then leaves.
He literally flips them off, points at both of them, and then he's like, fuck it. He goes back and... Welcome to wrestling. Next match we got good old Billy Gunn versus Aldo Montoya.
Yeah.
That's
Hunt Man
oh yeah, he
shows up, and he's actually there for the rest of the night, right? Isn't he? I guess he takes over for King Lawler.
I believe so, yeah, when they do the what's it called, but I just don't like Honky Tonk Man at all, really. He's a Hulk Hogan to me. He is an artifact. This way, something you dig up from an expedition, you're like, and blow the dust off of it. But whatever, that's fine. Aldo starts the match really upside down from the get-go. Is getting just pounded in by Billy Gunn. Billy Gunn keeps mouthing the phrase, I am the best.
Yeah, I mean, he is.
With really? Inhaler in hand.
Yes. I am.
Feels so good. Sunny promotes Shotgun Saturday as well. That's a highlight because it's Sunny and she's hot. And then
undercover with Sunny.
Oh yeah, she says, Vince, don't you want to be undercover with me? And then Vince's wife. And then he goes, no.
What are you gonna say to that, Vince?
What are you gonna say? And then he's like, I bet you Billy Gunn would want to be that way. And it's like, yeah, Billy Gunn's like 9'80", so I'm sure his legs will stick out and be dragging on the floor. And then yeah, Billy wins with a leg drop off the top rope, which he gets some distance on it too. Actually, yeah. I mean, he's a tall guy. What do you expect? The only reason why Rocky's more impressive is because he's a normal sort of average height.
Rocky is...
He's like 6'3" or something.
6'5".
6'5"?
Yeah.
No, when I hung out with him the other day. We're tight like that, you know. We're brothers. Anyway, moving on, we get over to our next bit.
Mankind does a little promo. Says he doesn't need urns. He doesn't need mommy. And then he kind of like cries about how he's important. And then we get to the next match. Goldust versus who? Yellow?
I wrote some guy.
Some guy.
You can call him Bumblebee. You can call him the Yellow Jacket. There you go.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. Also Marlene's there too. Let's point that out.
Yes.
This is going to be important here. Triple H with Chyna are literally standing there like disapproving parents of Goldust's clothing. Just like, at the top, right next to the Titantron. And it's a very quick match.
Goldust wins with the curtain call.
Yeah, Yellow Jacket gets just destroyed at that point. I'm calling him Yellow Jacket. Fuck it.
Let's do it.
At that point, he brings Marlena into the ring because he's like, I don't trust these guys around here. I don't know how Goldust, as a human being, fearing for his wife, his girl's life,
yeah,
right, because of what happened previously, would lose track of fucking Triple H. But he does, and both of them really.
Right.
Triple H is like, fuck it, off the turnbuckle behind Goldust while he's looking at Chyna, and trying to identify what she identifies as, and gets fucking belted on the back. It was a double hand, whatever that nonsense is.
Yeah.
Gets knocked down, and then they start just taking him on. But Marlene says, I've taken all I can take, and I ain't gonna take no more. And then so she hops in and literally starts choking out China, who looks pleased and disappointed at the same time.
Yeah, like... Okay. I gotta sell this for how long?
Yeah, so she's like
1 minute? Okay.
grabbing onto Marlene, and thankfully it's China because, you know, China's got some strength and some women etiquette. She's like keeping her dress down too.
Yeah.
Because Marlene's legs are open, and she's like, I don't want to show your ass off to everybody. But at the same time, she's like, you're choking me really hard. And then they get pulled away by the refs at that point. There's a little bit of back and forth, and then
Marlena slaps her.
just hardcore.
Yeah.
The slap heard around the world.
hear it.
Which was actually really good. They
And
pushed
then
that.
fuck, China military presses a ref and throws him into the other refs.
Yeah.
Like legit.
China's got some guns, man. She can do it, and I believe it.
That was awesome.
She's got some strength. So she obviously picks him up, tosses him at that point, and then they get the hell out of the GTFO.
Next up is the great debate. King versus Paul. And the question that a third grader might ask, should ECW exist? What the hell kind of question is that? That two adults would debate that question?
Well, I mean, some people do.
King says, a better question is, does ECW exist? Because and his argument is that nobody's watching it and they're getting the most views right now on a different TV show. And nobody's going to watch the pay-per-view.
Yeah, let's preface this by saying, and I'll at least say it, I was actually looking forward to this going in because you got two great talkers going back and forth. But you have one talker and you have one yeller at the end of the day. That's another thing to consider. But go ahead.
Polly says to shut up, and then they both start shooting on each other, which that shooting period of 2 to 3 minutes was
good.
Awesome. They were both taking some mean shots at each other.
Mean jabs.
Lawler talks about how Paul Heyman lives with his mom still, because he did.
Yeah.
And the only reason he has the company is because his parents are rich, and he just plays around with it.
And just paid for it for you.
And then Polly says, you have sons that don't even, like, you, okay, he also says, you have no contribution to this company, and there has nothing, that success has nothing to do with you, and then your own sons don't use your last name, because they're ashamed of you, which is
They start cutting deep.
kind of true.
They start cutting deep. And one thing that was sort of weird, though, is all these ECW, like, mainstays start coming out.
Yeah.
You get Perry Saturn, pre-Perry Saturn, right? He's called something else, I would think.
I don't remember.
Whatever. No mop, so I don't care. And then you get what's the main guy, Black.
Tommy Dreamer?
Tommy Dreamer comes out with the best valet, in my opinion. Girl can get it. I don't know her name, but she can get it. And that one dude that drinks beer with the kendo stick.
Sandman.
No one likes him. I hope no one likes him.
He was popular.
He's fucking boring. Anyway, there was actually a sign that said something about Sandman. Negative, not positive. And then, of course, you get the good old Dudley Boys that eventually show up as well, which it's nice to see them. They should have came out before half these other people showed up, but whatever. They're all coming out, but there's no WWF.
Yeah, it kind of got really depressing because Jerry obviously doesn't have any friends because he's a bad heel and, like...
Well, he's a good heel.
Yeah, he's a
but
good
he's
heel. He's a bad guy.
Bad guy.
And nobody wants to back him up, so he's... But I'm kind of like, well, it's still your like.
What do you expect?
If I were a wrestler in WWF or something, I would want to defend it.
Yeah.
But even despite Jerry being out there, but nobody did.
Triple H makes sense to go out there.
Yeah, something like that. But nobody did, and he just kind of like, well, my people are coming out, and no one came out, and it made him look like a real chump.
Kind of depressing. I also hand it to Paul Heyman because he actually put it back on track. They were shooting pretty hard on each other, and then he's like, all right, let's go back to wrestling. So,
yeah.
I literally wrote,
There was 2 to 3 minutes of good stuff in there, and then it dragged on too long.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Next we have the main event, Mankind and Vader versus Taker and Sid.
Yeah.
This had every opportunity to suck, and it didn't really suck.
Let's preface, initially, Undertaker was not out there. Sid came to the ring, doing aggressive fist bumps, and then the both of Vader and Mankind came out with Paul Bearer. And when they were out there, Sid was just getting destroyed, jumped, your typical stuff, and then all of a sudden you see people stand up, and you see the screen come out, and then who comes in? The good old dead man. First time running that fast in his life. Comes in, chokeslams Mankind immediately. He's just like, oh, he just blow my load all over you. Takes him down, and then they start working on the outside of the ring at that point with Sid and Vader remaining inside.
Taker and Sid. Taker accidentally hits Sid on the outside at one point, and then they start fighting. Taker does a chokeslam on Sid.
Yeah, lays him out.
And then turns and does his dive to the outside on Mankind and Vader. Clips his foot, but who cares? He still makes it.
Yeah.
And that's awesome.
You just don't see
He's
that, though.
huge.
He covered both of them.
Yeah.
He just saw a shadow coming and like, shit!
Taker eventually makes his way back in, and Sid powerbombs Taker for his troubles.
Yeah.
And then Vader pins Taker for the win.
Yeah, sneaky pin. And
Dude, this...
Well, hold on.
Oh, go ahead.
Sid was so upset about that pin. He literally came back right before Vader was getting ready to do his... what does he do? He drops back like that? Belly to belly. And then he just pushes him right in the face. And then he's like, now I'm gone.
Yeah, then he runs all the way back.
Yeah. I said I was leaving when I want to.
This was a I don't know if it's creative, but it was a great way of getting Mankind and Vader over.
Yeah.
They beat like the two biggest stars in the company. And then also to gain heat for Taker and Sid.
Because this was actually a match, I'm going to give this my best match of Raw. Because there's not really a lot of actual true matches. There's a bunch of quick burials.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's it. So that's going to be my...
Yeah, I think that would be safe.
Yeah.
I would do the same.
I know we jumped the gun, but I just wanted to point that out.
Bret Hart does a quick promo about their cage match.
It's like 2 seconds.
They're like, how'd you get that cage match? He's like,
how'd I get it? Probably by complaining.
by whining.
It's like, you sound like a whiner, dog.
But, yeah, that's the story.
I bet you he goes home and complains to his wife. They don't like
They
me
made me
there.
do a whining promo again.
You know I'm not a whiner, right? I don't want to talk about it right now. Come on! Anyway.
Alright, best show.
Best show. I am going to have to give it to Raw.
I would also give it to Raw. Although I like both of them.
There was some interesting points. Like I've got a really weird soft spot, which sounds wrong, for Buff Bagwell. I just like seeing the guy. He's one of the guys I remember vividly growing up, and that's cool. And I always like Mongo. Mongo's just really fun.
Mongo's fun. I guess my only problem with my biggest problem with it is that the Roddy Piper stuff, I'm just not buying into.
I don't like any of the promos.
They're
on WCW right now. I don't like any of the promos.
They're okay, I think, but
like the Eddie Guerrero promo wasn't even good.
I thought it was alright. I thought it told an interesting story because they're building into that, like he's saying that he's changing too, and like they're both changing and. I like that you don't know which one is necessarily the heel.
They're gonna do a double turn?
Could be.
Could be. Lex, Giant, and Steiners when they did their promo.
I thought it was entertaining.
Didn't really care.
I didn't care, but that's the thing is that whole match. I still don't even know the rules of it. They haven't explained what's going on with that match.
We'll find out on the day, or we won't.
Or we won't. But
when the NWO comes out, that's so fucking played out at this point. I get so sick of them coming out. Let's strut and take 50 minutes to come to the stage. They're worse than Undertaker, and there's like 10 of them. Come on. They're taking longer to come to the stage than Sting is to talk. It's bad. And that's the difference between the products right now. Is you look at Raw, and Raw at least has good promos. The Ahmed Johnson Farouk thing was interesting. I'll give it to Ken Shamrock. He didn't stutter over his words or anything like that. And when
He
you
got carried, though, especially by Stone Cold.
Austin did carry him. And Brett didn't even acknowledge him until the last 5 seconds. Oh, you here? Oh, sorry about that. You know, kind of a thing. Whatever. I mean, Mankind sucks on promos, and so does Vader. But the only reason why those are funny was because Vince's like, yeah, it's Vader time.
Vader time, okay.
Get the fuck out. So, I mean...
yeah, there were some downs on both of these shows. I think what we're also watching slowly happen is that the in-ring product is being shifted to pay-per-views only.
Yeah.
And you're getting a lot more, which I think is good.
You get more build-up.
You're getting more story and more character stuff on each show.
That's Raw nowadays, though.
Yep.
Yeah.
Less folk. I mean, you still get in-ring action once you watch the pay-per-views, which, luckily for us, everything's free. $10 a month, but back then it was like what, like $30 to $50.
No, I think it was like 60.
Something
Yeah, because my dad absolutely refused to get any WCW promo, or what's it called?
Pay-per-views.
That was the first time I ever heard of Starrcade.
Oh.
So, yeah. And I was like, you gotta pay money? Dad, no, shut the fuck up. I'm already getting you Christmas gifts.
Well, what was your match of the night?
The Vader Mankind. Sid and
I guess I'll take that. I don't think any of them were particularly outstanding. But
That's the problem.
that's what we got.
It was
the most hype one. I was like,
yeah, it was like, oh, look at that. Right.
shit's going down.
I mean, you can't always expect lightning to strike twice.
Dude, what? Look at the endings of these two shows. The end of Raw is Undertaker and Sid, who are fighting for the championship at WrestleMania, versus Vader and Mankind, two very imposing characters who are also fighting for the tag team championships at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
The end of Nitro
Was the NWO promo.
No.
Public Enemy.
It was Public Enemy yelling about the Four Horsemen for some reason and then getting attacked from behind from Harlem Heat. Too black.
Too black.
Like fade to black.
Oh. Yeah, pretty much.
What the hell was
And
that?
one has a pay-per-view sooner than the other.
Yeah, their pay-per-view's next month, next Sunday.
Sunday. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
What the hell?
I to be honest with you, they fell asleep at the wheel these last 2 weeks because Raw's won these last 2 weeks. At least in our opinion.
Yeah.
Obviously, you guys make your own decisions and all that stuff.
No, I don't think you should make your own decisions. I think what we say goes. This is fat.
And then before we finish, your worst match, you're calling the Luchadors?
I'm gonna say the Luchadors. It's just kind of a cheap plug and more just a waste of time so that they can get other things over. I get that that's what they wanted, and it's cool that we got to see that other stuff. But the match itself was like really, especially that botch, was really bad.
I think the worst match of the night for me is still going to go to Kevin Sullivan. Just now that I've had time to let that simmer, I think, first of all, what are we prepping up Kevin Sullivan for?
That's a good question.
Because he's not feuding with anyone directly.
I assume it's going to continue with Benoit.
I think the reason why Benoit's not on is because the real life stuff is going on.
Oh, could be.
Maybe I'm wrong and my timeline's all fucked up, but it doesn't make sense to me to build him up for no reason. He shouldn't have a match every night.
Yeah.
If Harlem Heat's not getting a match every fucking night, and they're great. God damn it.
I agree.
Fuck.
Well, thanks for joining us. I'm Spencer.
And JD.
This is The Heel Turn.